Hello and welcome to this channel. My name is Janet. I'm working through the King James's Bible. Today I am in the book of Kings, working through chapters 22 and 23 today. So I'm going to review each chapter. So let us begin. So as we start chapter 22, we learn that we have a new king in town in the Judah tribe, and his name is Joshua, and he's only 8 years old when he starts. Now he rules for 31 years in total, and finally he is a good king. We've had so many kings before him that have been sinning and going so far away from the laws of God. This king is a light in all of that darkness. So when he turns 18, he sends his secretary, Shaphan, to see the high priest Hilkiah. Now King Joshua's aim is to have the temple rebuilt because it's in disrepair really. So he's going to this high priest, sending his secretary there to go through the accounting side of things. It's like there's money there that is given to the temple, so he wants to use that to pay people to start restoring it. So that's what happens, and the workers start. Now, while they're working on the temple, they find the book of law that Moses wrote all those years ago, and they bring it to the secretary, Shaphan. The secretary looks at it, reads it over, and immediately takes it to the king. And once he reads the contents and realizes how far the people of Jerusalem, the Israelites, have gone from God and his laws and what is to come for doing that, he is in fear. To the point he rips off his clothes, and then he goes to his officials to go and seek a prophet to get some guidance from God himself. And they find a lady, and she's a prophetess, and her name is Huldah. And she explains to them that all of those laws in the book are going to come to be. So the curses that are in there for what they've done are going to come upon the Israelites. However, she said, King Joash, because he's humbled himself now and realizes what he's done wrong, he will die in peace. That's God's word. He's going to die in peace. But the troubles and the curses, they are going to come to the Israelites after him and the generations to come. So they're not going to get off lightly. So the king's officials get this message from the prophetess, and then they go to him and tell him what she said. So now that he's got this news, we close chapter 22, and as we open chapter 23, we get King Joshua on action mode. He wants to now start cleansing the land with all God's rules, what he has to do. He's got like that book telling him this is what needs to happen, these are the laws. So he has that, and he starts taking some serious action. First, he brings all the elders and the leaders together into Jerusalem to uncover his plans for reforming the Judah camp. It's time to change. Then all the people of Judah are gathered together, and they have like a mass reading to go through the book of laws. So they all then know what's in it and what has to be done. Now everyone, including the people and the leaders, agree to the covenant that is written in the book of laws by Moses. So now you can imagine major change is on the horizon. So King Joshua, he cleanses the land of all of the people who worship false gods. He gets rid of their places of worship, so the high places, the altars, Baal gods and the Asherah goddess, they're all removed. He completely annihilates the temples that they've been worshipping them at. They are completely destroyed, and any sculptures are kind of ground down to powder. Anything that offended God, Joshua has removed. He even kills the priests who were worshipping false gods, so they're killed. And he goes so far as to dig up the bodies of people who have been worshipping false gods, and he has those ground down to powder as well. He does the same in Samaria that he does in Judah, and then once all of the land is cleansed, he holds for the first time in a long time the Passover festival that God has written down, well, Moses, should I say, has written down in that book of laws, so they start celebrating. So at this point, you can imagine the Lord is so happy with Joshua now. He's following all of his commandments and he's getting things in order for him. But remember, God has not forgiven the Israelite people, so they will end up being cursed and they will be removed from the promised land. But he will keep his promise to Joashua because he's followed all these laws and he will rest in peace. But sadly, we learn the demise of Joshua is that he gets involved in a battle with the king of Egypt, and in this battle he is killed. So that sees the end of his reign, and his son takes over, Jehoahaz. But he only lasts for 3 months. Now, the king of Egypt basically captures him, and he goes to Egypt and he dies there. The king of Egypt then decides to make Joash's son, the other one, king, and his name is Eliakim. But the king of Egypt decides to change that name to Jehoiakim. He then becomes the new king of the Judah tribe and he reigns for 11 years. And this closes our chapter 23. So there we have it. 2 chapters, one great king that has come about and he has cleansed the land of Judah and Samaria of all of the sinnings that they've done and going against all these false gods. Everything has been removed that really upsets God. Sadly though, we do see the end of this good king and it's kind of like a twisted tale. Let's see now what happens to the new son who has this 11 years reign. What will happen? We'll find out, I'm sure, in the upcoming chapters. So thank you for your time, thanks for being here, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care now. Bye.